Alright, so this is a video for Memories of Migration. Today is Tuesday, May 16th, and we are with.
My name is Lizbeth Reynoso. I'm 23 years old and I was born in San Andres, Nicolas Bravo in Mexico. I was 5.5 years old. Not really. I just remember getting on a plane in a car with my tia, and that's actually all I remember. It was just my sister and I. My mom and dad were already here. About 3 years, I think. Yeah. They had an apartment. I just came and lived with them. I graduated from a 4 year and got my bachelor's. I got it in business administration with concentrations in accounting and human resource management. I actually went to Corona High School for 3 years, and then I came to Santa Ana High School for my last year. No, I actually transferred from Santa Ana College. Well, going into Santa Ana College, I was helped by an outreach program they have there. And I specifically remember there was a woman named Luisa, and she helped me gain assistance to pay for my tuition. And then the rest, like books and like the extra fees you had to pay, like I had savings, so I just used those. Um, I was a part of what is it called? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Dreams. Like, oh no, no, sorry, ideas. Yeah, so I was a part of ideas. So I was doing work with them, but I was also a part of I guess like more college centered programs such as like ULink. So I know that a lot of like I remember we would have to go like to events as like classmates, so that's why I felt like really connected to them. I was a part of Adelante, but yeah, Cal State Fullerton. I was there 3 years at Cal State Fullerton. Yeah. So when I transferred, the California Dream Act became effective, so that helped me pay for my tuition. And then the fees, like the additional fees, I think it was like $300, $400. I had gotten scholarships when I transferred, so I used that to pay them off. And I think that same year, DACA, like I got my DACA, so I actually joined a youth employment program where I volunteered, and I was working while going to school to help pay for those additional fees. My family was in a lot of debt, so then I didn't want to add to their additional expense for them because they actually offered to pay for my 4 year, and I didn't want to add to that expense. So I decided to go the community college route. Yeah, because I assumed, well, I had heard it was a lot cheaper. Yeah, throughout my whole college, yeah, they would offer like to pay for my books, but I really didn't want them to get more, yeah, into debt. I guess thinking of when I was transferring, or like when I graduated high school, right? Or when I was about to graduate high school, like my thoughts on going to Santa Ana College, or like, I guess like people talk down on community colleges a lot, right? When you're in high school. So, in a sense, I fell into that, right? So like, I thought like going to Santa Ana College was gonna be like the worst thing, right? Like, or like it could be the worst thing, right? When I got accepted to like universities, where I was like, it's not fair, right? So I guess like going into Santa Ana College, I was actually like shocked, or like not shocked, but I was surprised by like the fact that a lot of students end up going to community college because they don't have either like the funding, or at the time they might find that going like straight into the university might be like too challenging for them, right? So they want to kind of like slow it down. So I was surprised. Well, yeah, I was surprised that there were so many like committed students there and so much like help and resources, where you think like, I don't know, that's where a lot of people who don't do well in school go to. That's what like your perspective is usually. So that was surprising. Was I scared? I don't remember. I was like trying to think if I was scared or if I was just excited to finally go. I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember actually. I guess when I was, the only thing I can think of is like when I was about to transfer from like Santa Ana College to Cal State Fullerton. I I was I was really like looking for all the resources, like, right, to pay for um the university. And uh I lost my train of thought, sorry. I was like, there was something there, but I know it's gone. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, so when I was thinking of, or like applying to transfer to Cal State Fullerton, or actually my top choice was UCI, but they didn't accept me under their business program. So I was like, whatever, I don't care. I'll just go to Cal State Fullerton. Um, but I guess I felt a sense of relief, like when I was applying, because like I said, the California Dream Act became effective that same year that I was transferring. Um, so I was like, oh, cool. Like I'll be able to pay for tuition, right? I'll just have to figure out my fees from there. And uh, from there, like I was like really, like I applied to so many scholarships. I don't know, like I was just applying and applying every time somebody sent it to me. And yeah, like I guess it was like, yeah, it was a sense of relief, because even that year, like I said, I had gotten DACA, so I was like, oh, I can, if anything, I can pay with this, right? Like I can work and pay for it. And I guess, yeah, like that year, it was just like I felt like really accomplished that year when I transferred, just because yeah, like I got a lot of scholarships, like all my work was paying off. I remember, yeah, that summer, like I got a call during the summer for a scholarship that I applied to, and like I cried because I totally thought I hadn't gotten it, because it had been like months after like that I had applied. And then she was like, oh, like we just want to inform you, like you got that $6,000 scholarship. And I started crying, because I really couldn't believe it. Like I was just like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. And then I don't know what she told me. I really don't. I just remember she called me, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst way to give someone news, because you're like crying. Just email me. Yeah, but yeah, I just felt a sense of relief and accomplishment, even though I wasn't done yet. Like I had already made it halfway. Yeah, I definitely thought it was beneficial. I thought it was like a form of relief, right? Like in regards to like start working without fear, right? Like as much fear, right? Or being in fear of like being deported. So I think right when it came out, like I applied, and then I thought it would be helpful in regards to like me paying for both like my college expenses and like helping out my household as well. Um, I guess if you think of, yeah, the California Dream Act, like I did apply for that, and because my family is low income, like I was able to get assistance in regards to tuition. And then yeah, I know that there was, like when I was applying for scholarships, there was actually some scholarships like specific towards undocumented student, like both from like Santa Ana College and both from like, what is it called? OCCF, Orange County Community Foundation. Yeah, so I know that they were very focused on like a lot of their scholarships are actually focused on like Latino students. Yeah, and some specifically to undocumented students. Um, I don't know in regards to helping me, but I actually liked the fact that I went to Santa Ana College first because I felt like there was more of a community sense in regards to, well, I guess at the time I wasn't working, right? So I was more involved on campus. I was more, I guess, familiar with like the faculty and like my classmates. Whereas when I transferred like to Cal State Fullerton and DACA, like I got DACA, right? Like I started working, and so I was less time on campus. So I didn't feel like a part of the campus. Like I guess I was just going to get like to classes to like I guess get my degree, but I didn't feel like I was a part of the community. I didn't feel like I was a part of um, the college, like the university itself. So I feel like if I would have gone like straight to university, it might have been that same situation, right, where I was working the whole time, where I wouldn't have been connected to the campus, which I really liked about SAC. Yeah. So before before I graduated, I had already been working somewhere at a nonprofit. So I was working there, and then when I graduated, I guess I just got like a raise and more hours. So I'm working in my field technically. Oh, that's a good question. um, I guess growing up, I was always really good at math. Like, I don't know, I was always really good at math. And I was like, oh, I like math. Except for when I got to like my calculus classes, I hated calculus. Like, I just found it so hard. So I knew I couldn't like be a math teacher. Like, I had actually dreamt of all my life. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a math teacher. I'm going to be a math teacher up to like high school. And I was like, no, this is not for me. So I remember I talked to one of my teachers at Santa Ana High School who suggested like accounting. So she suggested like, oh, what about accounting? Like you use like numbers or you use calculations, but yet you're working with financials, right? I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I personally always been good at managing my money. That's why I had savings, right? So I was like, oh, this sounds like a really good idea. So that's why I actually went into it. And at Santa Ana College, it was good. Like I was like, oh, okay, like I understand all of this. But going into Cal State Fullerton was actually really difficult. Accounting classes at Fullerton are really difficult. So I remember at points, like, well, not at points, but like during I guess my second year there, right? I thought of changing majors or like changing concentrations because that's how hard it got. But I had already gone through so much through so many classes, and I didn't find it all unbearable. Like I only found parts of it like really really difficult. So then that's during that time I was looking at other majors or other concentrations under business, and that's when I found like human resources and management, and I had already been kind of doing that at my job, and I liked it. So that's when I decided to add like the second concentration onto it, and actually I'm glad I did it because at work I'm doing half and half right now, which I really enjoy. Like I don't want to concentrate completely on accounting. um, I think I can concentrate completely on HR but not accounting, so it's good that I'm like half and half because I get to enjoy and use both of those aspects at my job. Well, I think before graduating from high school, like I had talked to, I can remember like specifically two of my teachers that I spoke to, and they were really encouraging. They actually like even provided like resources, and they gave me like tips on how I could get scholarships and like how I could make it easier to, I guess, get accepted towards like certain universities. And I know that at SAC, uh, I guess because coming out of high school as a senior, I think that's when I realized like what being an undocumented student meant, like what we weren't like, what is it called? What we weren't eligible for, right? So I think that coming out of high school through that, when I went to SAC, like I knew that I was an undocumented student, so it was really good to have like faculty and other students who are also undocumented, because you were able to, I guess, like share resources and like information about uh, different things. Yeah. Yeah, I guess in a sense, I didn't feel like I was overwhelmed, right? But I guess at times you do want like to have someone to go to or like ask questions immediately to, but I think you have to figure it out, right? Like, I guess I've always defined being a dreamer as like someone that came to the country or like yeah came to the country at a really young age, right? And then they grew up here, they went to school here, and then for some reason it's always been associated to like someone wanting to go to college, you know, like or attending the university. With that definition, like I've always considered myself a dreamer because I was like, okay, yeah, like I grew up here, like I went to school here, like I wanted to go to college here, but I guess like afterwards, I I heard people saying that like people associate dreamers to being like a good immigrant, right? Um, and then I learned that there's such a thing as a good immigrant versus a bad immigrant, which I don't completely agree with, right? Like I don't know why we have to be classified into things. So that's why sometimes I feel like there's a negative, uh, a negative relevance in regards to that, like someone calling someone a dreamer, right? Because then people are like, oh well, you're the one that's making everyone else that's not doesn't fit into this bubble negatively. But it's kind of like your identity, right? Because that's well, at least it's one of my identities that I go by. Um, so yeah, I guess I am a dreamer in my perspective. To be resilient, I guess I associate the word resilience to like being strong, persevering, right? I think in regards to education, if I question whether I was resilient during my educational journey, um, I would, I guess I would think of it as I guess because like regardless of like all the obstacles that you think you've had, like I guess like when I ended up like graduating, like I was like, oh wow, like I did it, you know, like even after like all the obstacles, yeah. So even when I thought I couldn't, like back when I graduated high school, right, like I was like, oh, there's no way like I'm gonna go to college, like how am I gonna afford it? And then making it happen, like yeah, I think I was pretty yeah. Yay, we're done.
Did it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to look at the camera. I was looking at it sometimes, I wasn't sometimes, and nobody told me. And I was like, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.